Hey all and welcome back to Sonic Chronicles, the Dark Brotherhood. We have reached the final chapter, but before we do cool stuff, we have to go talk to an old guy and basically get a lore dump of like the Nocturnus and the Twilight Cage and so on and so forth. Oh, we're having a heart-to-heart with Knuckles. Perhaps this is where we can max out our social link.
You made the joke before I was going to, fuck. Yeah, but like Knuckles is obviously from his situation in quite a tough position right now, and the fact that he actually has Sonic to talk to is probably doing him a world of good right now, let's be fair. Yeah,
I mean, I'm surprised he's not talking to Shade, honestly, but that's the awkward part about it. He's like Shade hasn't had his isolationist lifestyle, so she couldn't really empathise, but Sonic, he's kind of a loner, you know, he prefers, you know, running more than, I don't know, attending parties or just sitting in his house.
Well, with Sonic and Knuckles, they seem to have this, like, they've always seemed to have had this, like, unspoken respect for each other despite being rivals.
Yeah.
And so they can probably see where each other's coming from better than Knuckles and this random echidna that he met a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
So, like, I suppose that is an interesting thing about Sonic and Knuckles' dynamic in general, the fact that, like, they're at each other's throats all the time, especially when Knuckles does Knuckles things.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, they're still friends at the end of it. But this character here, the reason we've been picking up these different tablet scriptures and the items and that throughout the different areas and that, he will take a great interest in them. And it seems Knuckles has heard of him, Nestor the Wise, as well. So we're going to be getting a bit of different information about the creatures and the backstory and whatnot here. So buckle up, I guess.
It's interesting because Pakahamex, or whatever the fuck he was called, his tribe was mostly warlike. But I guess there was like a certain faction that had respect for philosophy and science and whatnot. That's really the only way it would make sense. But yeah, we've touched upon the Argus thing before. Richie, do you have the page open for Nestor? Can you tell us a little bit about him?
I do indeed. So I mean, basically, his entire Sonic Wiki page is basically tiny. He is a legendary Echidna historian, a traitor to the Nocturnus clan, having spoken out publicly against Ix's ways and subsequently taken refuge with the Kron colony. He chose to live with the Kron because they were planning a rebellion against Ix's master rule. The only extra bit that I've really got is that he used to know a Gizoid from before the Argus event, even referring to it as a friend. However, it did not get sucked into the Twilight Cage during the Argus event. It's implied that that Gizoid friend was a Merle, as he is the only known Gizoid to have evaded the Argus event. And basically he'll, just go through all of the stuff with the Argus event and the Gizoids and history and so on and so forth. He is named after a Greek hero, Nestor, who took part in the Trojan War on the side of the Greeks. He was an old man, but he offered wise advice to the other younger warriors. And that's sort of where that all ties together. I'm just going to see if there's anything else a bit more interesting about Nestor in terms of mythology. So, he was the wise king of Pylos in Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah, they're talking about the thing with the Merle on screen right now, and it's, like, as you say, had this friendship in the past. Like, Pachacamac, he's the guy we saw in Sonic Adventure, if you remember from, like, Knuckles' story and that. He was the warmongering one that Tikal had her conflict with.
Yeah.
And wasn't he her father?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like his big thing, Flame.
Yeah, well, I was just getting them confused with, like, one another there, because, you know, the Echidna lore is so confusing for me.
I find it interesting, honestly.
It is, but, you know, does Pachacamac's name, is that a Greek thing as well, or did they just start pulling it in this game?
That might be Aztec, I think. Or Mayan.
Richie, you're the smart people person.
You'll have to bear with me. We're with Pachacamac.
Yeah, it's hard to spell. did dance around saying it for quite a while.
Right, so from what I think I can find, it's more based on Mayan myth and legend and stuff. I think it doesn't say it here, but when I was typing in Pachacamac, so Pachacamac is an area, it's an archaeological site 40 kilometres southeast of Lima, Peru, in the valley of the Lurin River. And apparently it was named after the Earthmaker creator god Pachacamac. Which, yeah, you're basically looking at Maya, and it's a chthonic creator deity, which I believe chthonic is sort of the earth, if I recall correctly. So it's more Inca than Mayan.
Okay.
But they do sort of, all blend together.
Yeah, see, I was kind of expecting more of an explicit war kind of character or personality from mythology, but I guess they weren't quite as on the nose as I was expecting them to be with that.
Yeah, God only knows, but I suppose with Nestor there is a sort of a bit of warrior in him, is a sort of historian wise man, because he was an Argonaut, helped fight the centaurs, and participated in Heracles' hunt for the Caledonian boar.
Ah, yes.
Becoming king after Heracles killed his father and all of his brothers and sisters.
Yay!
Which is nice. So yes, that's basically Nestor in a nutshell. I was going to see if there's anything else interesting, but there's not really, is there? Because that is all of Nestor the Wise. So I suppose the only bit is Argus. So Argus is the name of a 100-eyed giant in the service to the goddess Hera. One of Argus's greatest services to the Olympians was slaying the mother of all monsters, Echidna, while she slept.
Ah.
Huh.
I'm going to double check whether that is actually correct or not, because that sounds too good to be true.
I don't know, they might have just thought, what, that works, it relates directly to the Echidnas, but I associate the name Argus with that one fucking mech from Vanquish in that section, that closed-in section, that I got killed 5 times in a row by during the Sagathon run. That was fun.
Yes, I do think of that as well.
I mean, it can't really be that much of a coincidence, because they deliberately named the Voxai Overmind guys after, sirens and whatnot.
And no, it is actually correct. Argus was Hera's servant. His great service to the Olympian pantheon was to slay the chthonic serpent-legged monster Echidna as she slept in her cave. She was half woman, half snake. Interesting.
That's the word I would use to describe that, yeah.
Well, it's fucking Greek myths, mate. It's all doolally, really.
It really is. I mean, when you have Zeus, the guy who impregnates women as a swan, basically you're just like, well, at this point, anything goes.
He's so fucking extra. Just buy a bed and fuck on it. You don't need to turn into barnyard fodder.
Well, you can't kink shame people like that, come on.
I can and I will. If possible, I would kink shame you to death.
Well, you can't, because you need me to do these fucking videos for you.
God damn it, you're right!
So this is the balance you have to strike up. If you're going to be an annoying little prick, you also have to be useful to balance it out.
Yeah, very true.
And so they have to begrudgingly accept your negative traits.
But yeah, I have to say that I think that, well, the point that I was going to make has completely vanished from my head, and I don't know why I even bothered started talking. Hey, it's just one of those parts, really, isn't it?
Yep, sure is. I expected the Lord Dom to go over the whole part now, Flame, but I guess we're in story territory now.
Yeah, it kind of stuck in my mind because it fucking felt like it when I was recording it.
It always does, mate. It's actually kind of bad because you start to lose, track of how long you should be recording for a part and whatnot. And usually if you're, just editing a whole chunk, it doesn't matter. But if you're specifically recording a set amount of footage, it can dick you over at the end.
Well, for me personally, the reason why it felt so long is that I got like 5 minutes into recording that lore dump part and accidentally skipped a thing, so I had to restart the whole lore dump part, which was fun.
Lordy. Alright, this is basically the Council of Elrond, essentially.
Yeah, this is the meeting, so after their long-distance Skype call, they thought, actually, maybe we should discuss this where we're not going to keep dropping from the call every couple of minutes, and actually plan it out properly. So, yeah, this is where we're going to be, like, scheming our attack on the Nocturne.
Yeah, listen up, you bunch of cooks. This is for all of you. We will come together as one race and kick Ix out of the Twilight cage into the Hell cage, which is just hell.
Okay, but how are we going to do that? We didn't really think that far ahead.
Look, I'm the one with the bravado. You guys are the ones with the intelligence, the psychic power, and just being slugs, okay? You figure it out.
So basically, my job is to shout a lot, and your job is to do the actual work.
Hey, we just described our dynamic in HellfireComms as well.
Oh no, because I also shout at you when I want stuff done. Like, you know, the occasional, I don't care, it's 5:30 in the morning, Tom, I need this uploaded.
Yeah, true. Okay, so how are we going to get through this repulsor shield exactly? If we all work together, we can find a way.
We can make it if we all stick together.
No, stop. Cease!
On around.
I like that song though.
It is a good song, actually.
Agree to disagree. Okay, so the Nurgle can eat through stuff and whatnot. The Kron can, like, get stuff that deflects energy, but we gotta find a weak spot first.
Oh, thank God we've got a psychic team on our hands.
Yeah, seriously. Like, wouldn't this be so much more impactful if they were all members of your party and whatnot?
Yes, it would.
Especially if you had more than, spoiler, we're going to get another shitty little flash animation. Like, maybe if we had that being a bit more involved during the takeover rather than that. But no, we're just going to get more implied usefulness.
I do like the whole uniting the races thing, though, even if we're not directly, like, connected to individuals within said race and whatnot. So don't think I'm saying I dislike this point in the story at all. I think this is actually probably the best part of the story.
Yeah, I think it's, once again, it's one of those, the whole idea of it is great, but the execution's just not quite as good as it should have been to enable it to be as effective as it possibly could have been.
Well, like, see, even then, I do kind of legitimately find these different species likeable, because, like, they've got distinct personalities among the representatives we see. We can kind of sympathise with the positions they've been put in, like, say, the Nurgle and these others being pitted against each other, and, like, the mind control that the Voxel had, and, like, so we can kind of at least understand where they're coming from as characters, and that does make you connect with them to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But, like, they could have done a little bit more, but what's here isn't necessarily bad.
Yeah.
I don't particularly feel sorry for the Zoa. Like, yeah, they've been manipulated, but they're still a warlike race at the end of the day who probably would go conquering if it wasn't for all the other strong races in the Twilight Cage.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, that's their generations old culture. So, like, that, you can say that as the problem, but can you really blame the individuals who have grown up in that environment?
Yeah, true, I suppose.
Because, like, they've got their entire society is built around, like, they respect the champion and they respect the leaders, and to the point where they're disappointed in the leader when he isn't just fighting for them anymore, when he teams up with someone.
Very true,
and that is the sort of thing that, you know, years and years of socialisation will create that kind of environment, rather than just, this guy is a dick and these other dicks respect him, you know?
Alright, let's talk, Amy. What do you got to tell me? Oh, here come the pennies in the air.
Oh, we're getting relationship drama.
Yeah, you can talk in front of us. No, we fucking can't. Get out!
You need to leave because you'll laugh us and then subtweet us later.
Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. Jesus Christ. Alright, Amy, what could be possibly so important that you have... Oh god, is she gonna fucking get down on one knee and propose to us?
Not quite, but I think she is effectively going to be just like, there was no Dexter, I was lying.
Wow, spoilers.
Well, I mean, you are annoying, Amy, and most of the time it's us saving you, but since you got that hammer, you've been so darn useful.
Yeah, you couldn't stand in for Knuckles when I don't want him in the party. It's great.
Oh god, you can choose to friend. Oh, don't be silly. Don't ever say that. Come on.
Aww, Flame, you went nice in the end for that. Aww. Although, are you going to go just completely kill it in the end?
It's Flame. There's no time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, I know you're confessing all your feelings, but I'm really fucking busy, okay? We'll talk later.
Oh my god, wow. You made it a canon, mate. And what happened to Dexter exactly? Well, there goes my imagining Dexter from Dexter's lab. Well, you're locked into this relationship with the crazy pink hedgehog, mate, so enjoy that shit.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, after so many years, like, any hole's a goal, you know?
Fuck.
Wow.
How the fuck am I meant to follow that up?
Well, you got a minute to come up with something.
I've heard Amy called many things, but a hole is not one of them. Like, holy shit. How much of an incel do you have to be to fucking slut-shame a fictional character?
Well, look at her role in the entire series. It's follow Sonic around. Basically just hit on him constantly, even though he's shown signs of disinterest repeatedly.
I guess so. Well, we're inside
well, from one
now.
hole to another.
Yes.
We're just going through a hole into Nocturne. I'm just saying, so we're trying to move the conversation on somewhat as we come to the end of the part.
I was in the middle of that, then you awkwardly cut me off. This is meant to be a dramatic moment, and we're fucking talking about nothing! We're going through, we're in, it's fine. There are 3 more parts of this fucking shit show of a playthrough, and then we're done and you guys can choose a different, better Sonic game for us to cover. Bye!